Don't eat it, it's a wonderful dish. Pork and fat and cream and parmesan and egg and pasta. Woohoo!
Sugar, I would say, is the biggest scapegoat in the health world today. The biggest health problems we have in the Western world are chronic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, cancer, kidney disease, liver disease, autoimmune disease, and so on. Jamie Oliver knows that these are the biggest killers in the Western world.
Every single one of those ones in the red is a diet-related disease. Any doctor, any specialist will tell you that. Fact. Diet-related disease is the biggest killer in the United States right now, here today.
Now, the primary contributors to these diseases are animal products like meat, dairy, and eggs, which contain animal protein, saturated fat, cholesterol, and hormones. This Harvard study showed that eating red meat is linked to decreased all-cause mortality as well as cancer and heart disease, whilst eating plant proteins show a reduced mortality risk. And of course, there are many other empirical studies out there that make this connection between a rich diet and chronic disease. And let's not forget the Epic Panacea study, which shows meat is connected to weight gain. Now here's the fucked up thing. Jamie Oliver actually knows that it's the animal products that are the biggest contributors to the Western world's biggest killers.
Well, you go to a nutrition school once a week, right? For like three hours a week.
Oh, true, bro. True, man. What did you learn?
As far as some of the biggest cancers and killers in the world, they are seeing a link.
Actually, Jamie, the link is so strong now between animal product consumption and cancer. The World Health Organization, in their report, which summarized over 800 studies, comes outright and says that red meat and processed meats are carcinogens. White refined sugar is not implicated with diseases like cancer or heart disease or even kidney disease. In diabetes, you could argue that it plays a role, but the fact is that doctors have used white sugar and refined carbohydrates therapeutically to improve diabetes and improve insulin sensitivity. And the best example I can think of this is Dr. Walter Kepner, founder of the rice diet, who treated people with things like diabetes and heart disease and kidney problems at a time where there really was very limited medical treatment. Had extreme success with this diet, which used white rice, fruit juice, fruits, and a lot of refined sugar. In fact, he used so much refined sugar that during World War II, which is when he started his rice diet, he insisted that he was rationed a large amount of white sugar because he couldn't do his diet without it.
Because kids love sugar. Like my brother Steven loves sugar. Mom, can we get Cocoa Puffs? I really want Cocoa Puffs. Can we get Cocoa Puffs? I want Cocoa. Mom! Everyone's eating it!
Of course, in modern times, we now know that things like animal protein and saturated fat contribute to diabetes far more than white refined sugar. Type 2 diabetes is called intracellular myofibrillar lipidosis, which means there's fucking fat in your muscles and the insulin can't get in.
The veggie vegan thing for me is a really important.
The point I really want to hammer here is that whole plant foods are the best foods that we as humans can eat, okay? For example, you can treat and prevent heart disease and kidney disease by using plant proteins instead of animal proteins. You can improve glycemic control, insulin sensitivity, and cardiovascular function by eating a low-fat vegan diet. I mean, you can even improve erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction is one of the first signs of atherosclerosis. You can even extend your life by reducing your methionine intake, which is high in animal products.
But yeah, no, the veggie vegan diets are looking pretty sweet.
The longest studied people in the world are the Seventh-day Adventist vegans, who on average live 10 years longer than their American counterparts. And the longest living nation in the world are the Okinawans, who traditionally eat a 90% whole foods plant-based diet.
Mindful vegan vegetarian diets are looking really good at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, these people who eat whole foods plant-based diet tend to be relatively trim, and that's because whole plant foods have a very low energy density. They're low in calories, but they're high in fiber and micronutrients, which makes them very satiating. You feel quite full. You tend not to overeat, and therefore you won't get as fat as easily. And this is in fact the reason why vegans on average have a lower BMI than meat eaters, despite eating some pretty junky food a lot of the time.
And your average meat consumer's looking really poor.
Yeah, true.
In most Western countries now, about 60 to 65% of people are overweight or obese, and maybe 20 to 35% of the children are obese, And this is intricately linked with the things I've talked about, the animal products and the lack of whole plant foods in the diet. So the sugar tax that Jamie Oliver is so fond of only really addresses a small part of the health equation. And if you look at it, and the evidence overwhelmingly shows that these animal foods have a much more significant impact on our quality of life than drinking fizzy drinks, as well as the lack of whole plant foods in the diet. Then why not do something that's in line with that? You know, you say you're this campaigner for health, you want to increase people's quality of life, but you're just scapegoating all these things. You're pandering to people's cultural values. You're afraid to, you know, put your fucking balls on the line. You know, you're trying to protect your bank balance.